Hey, afternoon, guys. So we are going to look at reflection in diagonal lines. So you should remember from the horizontal and the vertical, we briefly went over x equals, say, 4 and y equals 3. Okay, so you should have remembered that x equals 4 is obviously a horizontal line that cuts across the y-axis at 4. And then say for x equals -2, that would be a vertical line that cuts across the x-axis at -2. If you can't remember that, go back a few videos. But in regards to today, I would like you to see if you can sketch any of these graphs. Okay, well, not sketch them, plot them, because you see some graph paper right there. I will be popping a link so you can, so for those people that don't actually have graph paper, you can just take a screenshot of it and add it to your notes, because knowing these graphs, they're very, very well known graphs. You should know how to do them. Okay, so if you just want to pause and then plot them, and then you should be fine. If you have your math book, obviously you can just quickly draw it in there. If you don't, then you probably just want to use a program like that. Okay, for those people that have their math book, you probably just want to put x, y. Okay, so because y equals x, I'm just going to pop in a bunch of x. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for the first one, it says y equals whatever x is. So x is 0, so y must be 0. X is 1, so y must equal 1. X is 2, so y must equal 2. X is 3. I think you're getting the drift of that. Okay, and if you are plotting that graph, you should see something that looks a bit like that red line. Okay, and then for the next one, so you'll see the positive gradient. If anyone can remember us talking about a positive gradient, that is what your graph should look like. Okay. For the next one, y equals -x, okay? So I'm going to take whatever this is, and I'm just going to multiply it by -1, okay? Ooh, that reminds me. Let's put some negative numbers in there as well. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so -2, but I want the negative of it because it's the negative of this. So -1 times -2 is +2. Okay, so -1 times -1 is 1. This is 0. 1 times -1 is -1. And then 2 times -1 is -2. Okay, so you should see a graph that looks like that. Okay, so this is the blue line graph if you're looking over there. But otherwise, you should see something that looks like a negative gradient. Okay? So these are important because sometimes when they ask you questions, they won't actually draw the line of reflection for you. They'll say shape A is reflected through line y equals x. And then what you need to do is make sure you draw that graph, okay? If you're ever unsure of what this graph is and then it makes no sense, I would say just do a table of values. Even if they don't give you a table of values, draw your own table of values and you can quite easily draw it. Or if your mind has just completely frozen and nothing makes any sense, just draw any line and then reflect through that line correctly and you get follow through. Okay, so this is what you need to know for the next part. So let's go through. Okay, so we are just going to move on to this. So it's a couple of questions just up there. I just want to run through them. You'll notice these two are slightly different because I've posted 2 worksheets. I have a feeling you guys can probably get through it quite quickly, so it's all good. I'll pop both on there. Have fun, because geometry is always fun. Okay, so for each of these, the only reason why I'm doing it in pen, I would recommend that you do it in pencil. The only reason why I'm doing it in pen is 1, I have a lot of practice, okay? And 2, I just want to make sure you guys can see the actual reflection, okay? So if I wanted to reflect in this line, if anyone does want to label the line just because they want to get into practice, that's fine. You can label that line. But we've got this. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop it that way. And okay, should I get rid of that? Yeah, let's get rid of that. No one wants to see that. Okay, so there's my straight line. All I need to do is reflect to the other side. So this point here is one diagonal away, so it's going to be there. This point stays where it is. This point is one diagonal away, so it will be there, and this point is here. So all I need to do is connect these lines. Okay, so that's the first one. For the second one, I am going to just move it that way, so I'm able to look at it. So this point will stay where it is, this point will stay where it is. This point is 2 diagonal away from there, so I'm going to have 2 diagonal there. Okay, let's draw that line. Okay, there's that one. Okay, this one, I'm no longer touching the line. So if it's not, it's very easy to see when it's touching the line. So I'm no longer touching this line, but you can still use exactly the same method, even though it's no longer touching it. So I can still see that. So I'm going to say, well, this is half a box away, so that will be its mirror. This is half a box away, so that's its mirror. This is 1 diagonal away, so it will be there. This is 1 diagonal away, so it will be there. This is 2 diagonals away, so it'll be there. And this is 1 diagonal away, so it will be there. Okay. There's this. Okay, so that's my shape there. And then for the last one, I've got this one. So it's half diagonal away here. This point is 1.5 diagonals away, so it'll be there. This point is 2 diagonals away from the line, so 2 just there. This is 1.5, so it will be here. This is 2 away, so it will be just there. And this is 1, 2, 2.5. So I've got half, 1, 2, so it's just there. Okay, hopefully that should all make sense. Even when it's in vertical or this way, you may not see it, but that's the reason why I always rotate a piece of paper, because it's very instinctive, especially because I've seen you guys do your vertical and your horizontal really well. So when you have it vertical or horizontal, it's very easy to see whether you've actually drawn it as a reflection or whether you've just kind of rejigged it a bit. Whereas this, it's a little bit more difficult to see whether it's actually been drawn as a symmetrical, if that makes sense. Okay, but hopefully you should just be able to do that. So I've done like 4 questions, but I'm sure you guys can do a lot more. So I'll attach both sheets, try and do what you can. Let me know if you have any kind of issues or anything, and we can try and sort it out. Okay, take care guys, have a lovely day. I would say enjoy the sun, but obviously today the weather is a little bit patchy, so don't worry about it. You can always check out the sun tomorrow. Okay, so take care, stay inside, stay safe.